From the central coast of New South Wales, Australia, it's the #1 podcast for the X-Men animated series. This is Generation X-Men with Bender and Brooksy.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Steve. This is Generation X-Men. I'm Bender, and with me as always is Brooksy.
Hey, hey.
Like the name suggests, we are Generation X-Men, and you are too. If you're new to this, what we'll be doing is going through all 5 seasons of X-Men the animated series, one episode at a time, giving you our thoughts, X-Quiz tally time, and most importantly, having a laugh as well. Now, the Phoenix Saga Part 1 Sacrifice. The first of many episodes. I have zero memory of what happened in this one, but I did have Part 2 as the comic books. That's about as far back as my nostalgia memory goes for this one. I should bring over all those X-Men comics. I don't read them at home. Just have them for the library here.
Why not?
Other than that, it was pretty much I was just along for the ride today. Any childhood memory? Do you have any childhood memories of this one, Brooks?
I remember the whole Phoenix Saga, but there's parts of it, that I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. I didn't remember parts of this episode, but yeah, I remember the whole gist of the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember bits and pieces. I could not tell you what episode was in what. Holy crap! I forgot to mention we're live on Facebook at the moment. The camera's pointed at me. We have 2 viewers, Brian Slater and Corey Neville.
Hey,
hey, how you going, boys? I should have the camera set up here, but then you might be able to hear just me and not Brooksy. But we didn't think this one out, Facebook viewers. Where, yeah, buddy, from Corey Neville. Hey, Slats, how are you, buddy? This is really going to get in the way of me editing the podcast later. But it'd be interesting if I ran it through the Facebook laptop. Could I open up a chat with them and go live? Seeing how my laptop is still connected to channel 3 of the thing. Oh, I have to try that one day.
Yeah.
That sound like a good idea, lads? I'm waiting for him to put that thumbs up thing up. Oh, there's a third person on here. Who's watching? It doesn't say yet. But anyway, where are we up to before we got into that? Oh, yes, breaking down the episode. We'll break that... We'll break that down shortly, but here's a taste of things to come. No Marvel movie news this week. Netflix cancelled Luke Cage and Iron Fist, but that's all right. Neither of us watched that show. Caitlin's got Netflix, but I'm not into the Netflix life. If I want something, I'll download it illegally like a pirate. In its place, we got 2 extra segments. What alcoholic drinks do the X-Men order? This is something we talked about in season 1, but never did. And a segment that we should have done after every season. Brooksy, we forgot.
Yeah,
tell you what, we forgot our favourite episode of each of the seasons. How could we forget?
I don't know. We do our ratings at the end, so it's not that hard to work out.
That's more or less hard. But if the viewers want to know, they're gonna have to put the work in to figure out what our favourite episode were. But anyway, we'll be doing that at the end of the episode. But before we get into that, it's time for a bit of X quiz.
Pop quiz, Hotshot.
Pop quiz!
Pop quiz, asshole.
Time for a surprise quiz?
Won't be a pop quiz on Wednesday. There's a pop quiz. Pop quiz.
How many you got?
I've got 2, and I was digging deep for both of them.
Yeah, I made up 5.
You made up 5, okay.
I did.
Well, you've got 5. You go first.
What colour is Wolverine's bathrobe?
That's when he was woken up by Professor
Suddenly.
X invading the dreams. He's wearing his boxer shorts and a bathrobe. Was it not navy? Was it green?
It was green.
Excellent. See that, Corey? Nailed it. All right. Here's my question. When they go into space, they have the shuttle that flies them up there. What is the name of the shuttle?
Star Core.
Star Core?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was Star 4.
Star 4? I thought it said Star Core on the side.
We're going to have to go to the tape. We are going to have to go to the tape. I will play the tape. But I'm not that positive either. Shit. Oh, a first evidence one we'll have to look up. All right.
We'll get back to it next week, don't worry.
We'll let you know who was right and who was wrong.
How about what's the name of the space station?
I've got that question as well. I think the S&amp Daredevil said it was Eagle 1 Station, right?
Correct.
Excellent.
You got any others?
That's it. That's my 2.
How about what class is the... What?
Corey's guessing the X quiz. He goes, was it orange? Nah, Corey was green. Man, live tweets are awesome. We should get a Twitch TV.
It sounds so live. He's
Oh.
only like 4 questions behind.
He's answering everything we say. Everything we ask. Can't be fucked coming over. Corey, Brian goes, as long as he wears the costume. Corey goes, I'll be there for Spidey and Nightcrawler. Orange bathrobe. And then he goes, damn it. All right, this next question, you're going to have to answer it, Corey. This one's going straight to Brooks. All right, ask away, mate.
What Shi'ar class is the Rebel Lilandra's ship?
Did you get that, Corey? Was a class a number or a colour?
It is a letter.
Oh. Double wrong. Corey guessed 7.
Incorrect.
I think it was a class H.
It's class Y.
Oh,
What did I have? One more. Oh, there's one more. So one of the guards, the mind-controlled astronauts of Dr. Corbet, is the only one wearing a name tag that we see.
Oh.
So what was that name tag?
One of the guards, eh? The one with the moustache?
No, not those guards. Just
Oh.
the mind-controlled astronauts
the
that were
astronauts.
guarding him.
Was it Richard? No, cancel that. Was it Larry?
No,
Damn it.
it was Lee.
It was Lee. Oh, okay. That's it for your X quiz.
That is it.
We were digging deep for that, everybody. There wasn't much to be dug.
No, there wasn't any of those sneaky little cameos or all that sort of stuff.
No, and the vending machine that Jubilee was hanging next to just said drinks.
Drinks, yeah.
And it's like, well, we can't come up with that. Brian guessed Jeff. Oh, my Lord. Corey goes, there's a 10-second delay. Oh.
10 second, you
10
reckon?
seconds, he says. That's only Australia. Overseas
Facebook
view-
Live my ass.
Facebook almost live. Anyway, live to tape.
Previously on X-Men.
So there was none. No previously on X-Men this
There's
episode.
no previously on X-Men. They probably didn't need to fill any time for
No.
the episode and nothing to recap. Well, there's plenty to recap. There's the Space Lethal Predator.
But it has no bearing on this episode.
That's exactly right, yeah. You could just skip those first 2 episodes and gone straight into this, but... Anyway, yeah, no previously on X-Men. So let's break it down.
Break it down.
Break it down, my fudge.
Break it down!
Break it down. Now it's time for a breakdown.
Break down! Go ahead, give it to me.
Breakdown.
Where is she?
So today we are doing episode number 29, season 3, episode 3, Phoenix Saga Part 1, Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So the original air date for this one was September 5, 1994. So they've had a month off now from the
Yeah.
last 2. And these ones, so Phoenix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were Monday to Friday in an afternoon time slot.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've gone prime time for the first 2, then had a month off, then gone Monday to Friday afternoon into the next episode that'll be on the Saturday morning.
Man, trying to follow that. So where the hell's X-Men? It's not on Friday anymore.
I think the idea was like Out of the Past Part 1 and Part 2 were both like a teaser for the season coming up.
Oh, right, yeah,
So
just
they-
to get some eyes on
Yeah,
the product.
And then this was this big Phoenix lead-in to season 3 starting. But we all know what happens at the end of Phoenix Saga. This when the timeline just gets totally screwed up. And then the
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
episode that's supposed to be after this didn't come out for another 2 years. So
2 whole years?
yeah, so it comes up in season 5. So they've led into this thing that makes no sense.
Oh, dear me. Bit of a cluster there. But it makes sense now why that Out of the Past Part 1 was so big.
Yeah.
Because it was like a big prime time push to get eyes on a product. And then the animation sort of went back to the sort of uninspired sort of stuff.
So the episode starts with a space battle. So we see that.
Did you say who it was written and directed by?
Oh, did I skip that? Did I? So this was written by Michael Edens and directed by Larry Houston.
On your Larry, because I don't remember saying on your Larry.
Yeah,
That's how I
right.
gauge it if we've remembered it. On your Larry, nice work.
So the Edens boys wrote all 5 episodes.
Yep.
So yeah, that was the first time they wanted to do that, so they let them do it.
The Eden's boys. Oh, well. So that'd be a sort of have a continuity to the whole arc. Thing.
Yeah, so they could write the whole story and break it up into 5 episodes. Because it wasn't like 15 books for Phoenix.
Yeah, maybe you were
Comics?
saying that the this first episode here was originally like 3 or 4 books.
Yeah.
And they just broke it down real quick.
So the episode starts with a space battle.
Yeah, interesting stuff here.
And we see the old professor in bed tossing and turning like he's dreaming of this space battle. And I found it hard to follow the space battle. I didn't know who I was supposed to be cheering for.
Yeah, it's the middle of a space battle with no context. The ships all kind of look the same sort of vibe. There's the bugs, the beetle spaceships.
Yeah, there's like this big battle cruiser and then a bunch of green cross ships.
Yeah.
Like the spirit drinker ships.
Like the prison ship with the spirit drinker, yeah.
And they're chased by like these small little fly-looking ships that look like bugs. So I don't know who we're supposed to be going for here.
Yeah. I mean, they just sort of threw you in the deep end, kind of like the first Star Wars, but with the ominous music of the Star Destroyer, and then this little ship that's getting beat up. You can sort of discern, okay, we're following the good guys are in that small, tiny ship, the bad guys are in the big grey ship. And this one, you can't really tell what's going on.
No.
It's just chaos in space.
So the battle cruiser jumps in here and blasts a few of the small fly ships, and it looks like they just turn them into chocolate-coated ships, and then just like tractor beams them back in.
It covers them in chocolate and hits them with the tractor beam.
And then we hear the, "Help me, Charles Xavier. Help me. For the sake of the future, help me."
Yeah, Chucky's having some bad times in his sleep.
Yeah, so this is like a white and grey sort of space suit, and they got like a big bug sort of head sort of thing. It looks like a normal space suit, except it's like got 2 sort of visors in, so like bug-headed.
Like 2 heads or 2 big bug eyes underneath that helmet.
And then it sort of reaches out for the professor. And then he sort of wakes up with a start and he's like, "They're coming."
Another awful dream.
So back from the break, and the professor decided to wake everyone up in the X-Mansion and get them all into the war room at the middle of the night. I guess that was better than force ghosting in all their bedrooms, waking them up.
Would be far less intrusive and I figure far less terrifying.
So this is when Wolverine and Cyclops show up in their bathrobes. Cyclops was wearing the orange bathrobe.
So Corey got one of the colours correct.
Yeah, and Beast was wearing grey shorts. So he wears more clothes to bed than we normally wear.
That's right. That was what was one of the things that I said. It's like, yeah, bullshit, Wolverine sleeps with clothes on. He's a naked sleeper for sure.
And Storm's in some like zebra-style dress.
Yes. She's in really long and flowing nights. Sleepy. What do they call those? A sleep. What do chicks wear? They called us. They call them sleepies.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm
slip.
not a chick.
We don't wear them, so we don't.
Jubilee's
nighty. That's what it's called.
There you go. That's it.
Nailed it.
So Jubilee's got the big purple like American football jersey sort of thing on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Wolverine's like, "Zit cream." Thought that was a mean way of outing poor Jubilee.
And Jean's there in the blue dressing gown. And so then we see, and they say, "Oh, where's Gambit?" And Gambit strolls in. He's wearing like a suit, but there's no ties. He's got the scarf on.
Yeah, has he got the sleeves rolled up like Don Johnson as well from Miami Vice? Sleeves, he's got the sports, is it called a sports jacket? Sports jacket on, sleeves rolled up. Top button's undone and the chain, and his hair's in a ponytail. He's been out on the town, old Gambit.
And we get the Gambit music.
Diddly.
It's great music. And then they say, "Oh, Rogue's out on a mission." So yeah, it's just Rogue's gone. Don't worry about Rogue.
So quickly get rid of her.
Yeah. So the professor tells them that the space shuttle Star 4 is scheduled for launch tomorrow. And Beast's like, "Yes, I just spoke with Dr. Corbo, who intends to study a unique solar vortex phenomenon." So the professor's pretty much just tuning him out here and just remembering his dream. And I think you mentioned it too when we were watching. He's not even listening.
He's not even paying attention.
So yeah, we see the bug suit again, this big angry looking guy, a red gem, and then I said Daredevil is at the end.
Yeah.
So do you want to go through that really or just who cares? We'll do that later.
About the Daredevil guy.
About all of them.
Oh, yeah, we'll go through that later because at the moment we don't know who either of them are.
So he tells the X-Men that they need to get on board the ship and get to Eagle 1 space station or Dr. Corbo and the crew are doomed.
Yeah, Xavier screams that out, and none of the X-Men have heard of Dr. Corbo or Space Station before. They'd be like, well, who cares? I don't know these people. But because he's the boss, they go into space.
So the X-Men don't seem to be buying into this plan, especially when Cyclops asks what they need to do, and the professor replies with, I wish I could tell you. What?
I skipped past a note here. As Wolverine's sitting down in the war room, he does the Riker maneuver from Star Trek. He pulls the chair around and just sits on it forward ways.
Yeah, and folds the headrest down.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting way of showing that he's not conventional and he's got attitude.
So then all of a sudden, Cyclops is just like the biggest fucking brown nose. And he's like, oh, yeah, this half-cocked fucking plan, great idea. Let's do this. Professor said we should go, let's go.
Yeah, back him up.
Come on, let's go, everyone.
Let's go to space.
So everyone gets up to walk out. And he's like, oh, no, not you, Storm. You're cut. And he's like, oh, you have to remain on Earth. And
there's no reason given.
why? Is this because she's going to be useless in space? There's no storm for her to use?
She can't start up the rain inside the space station.
No space storm? So then we cut back to the professor in his room. He's sort of staring out the night sky. And then Cyclops comes in the back. He's got his full uniform by this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in to ask what the mission is really about. Like he wasn't going to tell everyone. He's just going to tell Cyclops on the slide. No, seriously, what's this mission about? He's like, I'll just tell you.
He goes full Waylon Smithers and tries to get some one-on-one time with Professor X here.
So do you reckon this happens often? Where he's just like, yeah, everyone, let's go here. And then just tell Cyclops what they're actually doing?
100% that's exactly what's going on. Okay, Cyclops, this is the real plan.
So he tells Cyclops that the visions he's been having in the past few days make him feel like he is losing control.
Can't have that.
Then we get the couple of shots of the Blackbird, which we haven't seen for quite a while.
Yeah, it's that undershot in the hangar, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's coming through like the overhead hangar.
Yeah.
Now it's not coming out that cliffhanger that we've seen a lot before.
Yeah, that's right.
The X-Men fly in stealth mode to outside of the launch pad. And this whole scene here is just very similar to season 1, where they're outside that Sentinels building and they're going to escape to it. It's very, very similar.
They would have saved some time by going to the old storyboards. And so you've got the same sort of... There's a different type of rev-up music here. It's an... What did I call it? Contemplative.
I thought you were going to write it down because I couldn't remember.
There's a contemplative sort of rev-up music where it's not... heaps crazy. It almost feels like sad rev-up music. But it's like, oh, the X-Men are doing stuff. But it's not, let's kill a whole bunch of Sentinels music, you know? Sneaky X-Men rev-up music.
So Storm heads into a monologue again, which we haven't seen for quite a while, to call up the fog.
Yeah.
And Cyclops says, okay, Beast, get us over that fence. And so, again, we saw this before. And so he tosses Wolverine over there. And then he helps Cyclops with a backflip. And then carries Jean and Jubilee over.
Yeah, gets a handful of the babes to carry him over. He's not tossing them.
Wolverine says, do that again and we'll see where you land. And Cyclops like, come on, quit fooling around. Wolverine's like, sorry, Dad.
I like that one. Wolverine's full of tood.
So then they show up on this door and Wolverine's like, yeah, I got this. Pops claws. He cuts the wrong side of the lock and then pushes the door open. The alarm goes off.
What did you say to do?
So if you cut around the lock, then you can push the door on the hinges, but the lock's still locking that little part of the door that you've cut out there.
Yeah. I read you.
So, yeah, but what he did was cut around the other side. It's like, well, there's no lock there to cut at all, and it wouldn't have done anything.
Clearly, all the storyboard artists had never broken into an installation before.
Come on, quit fooling around.
Sorry, Dad.
And this is where they have a use for Jubilee in their plan.
Oh.
They're going to just say, Jubilee, you're going to get caught breaking in here, and then we're going to all escape. Cyclops says, you know they have to catch someone or they'll scrub the launch. I think that was just a way of saying scrub the launch, because that's cool. So they say that all the time. Scrub the launch.
Wasn't that on Tosh?
Tosh says about 1,000 times. Scrub the launch. She stands next to the drink machine and then gets picked up by two soldiers saying, "Oh, what are you doing in here?" And she's like, "Oh, I just want to see the space shuttle. Hey, you come with us."
Yeah, those two soldiers. One of them had a big moustache and was unshaven. I doubt that would have been military grooming standards. Police that moustache!
Police that moustache! You're starting to look like Elvis's!
The X-Men then bust into the astronauts and they're all getting dressed. And then Cyclops just straight up starts firing at them all. just blast. I'm like, shit, is he killing everyone? Like, how serious are they about this mission?
He's got his eyes set to stun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just starts. There's no way that he can take them out softly.
Yeah, so somehow he's blasted them to knock them out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess he's been up all night. He hasn't been charging. So the charge is a bit low.
It's on half intensity.
Yeah. So they grab their spacesuits. Wolverine and Gambit lock the astronauts into a room with plenty of food and water. So I guess that makes it okay. So just as they're about to finish suiting up, old Dr. Corbo walks in, and then Jean has to use her powers here to sort of give him the old mind trick to see that he actually sees his crew instead of the X-Men.
Yeah, which is a pretty good use of her
I really
powers.
like that. Yeah, I really like that part. That was cool.
It's the first time you really see telepathy used as an effective tool other than communication.
Yeah.
Used to block their mind. I mean, in the movies, they really used it good with Professor X taking over someone else's body or just freezing them.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool, but that doesn't seem to do too much in the animated series besides communication.
So this is how we get the perfect dark music that I call the...
Yeah. It's that searching music that they had in the final decision when they were scanning Gambit's mind for who Trask was. Perfect dark music.
So they board the shuttle and it blasts off. Once the shuttle is safely blasted off, the professor senses the security has Jubilee and he sends Storm to retrieve her. So Storm creates a tornado, blasts out the windows of the holding room. She grabs Jubilee and heads outside of the compound back to the professor. And this just reminded me of the Mummy. This is just them coming back to Humminuptra.
Weren't we just talking about the Mummy?
We always have to talk about the Mummy. It's a great movie.
Going back to Humminuptra. Here we go again.
Storm created a tornado to blast the window. And they went to Humminuptra. Into space now. And the Star Core 4 shuttle is about to dock with the Eagle 1 station. And do you want to describe the space station here? Because
the space station does not look like any human-built space station ever is. It's like purple and it's got yellow orbs on it. All these antennas coming off it. There's no humans designing this. No. It doesn't look like any space station I've seen.
The space station is just all solar panels. That's it. No solar panels at all on this. Where are they getting their bloody power from? This is bullshit.
Where are they getting their energy from?
Not getting it. Dr. Corbo tells Cyclops to make sure all personnel are secure. So he engages his magnetic boots from face off and walks over the cargo area. They are dead set, those boots from face off.
The face off boots.
Another great movie.
That is a good movie.
Beast and Wolverine are flying around zero gravity and they're looking at this orbital solar probe, which has a complete radiation shielding. I wonder if this will come up later in the episode.
I'm sure it will.
So the shuttle docks with the space station, and Dr. Corbo says that he's heard the station personnel are planning a great welcome for them. So this is where Jean gets this mental sort of feeling of a presence that she's not quite felt before, but something she has sensed before. It's a trap! And she's like, don't open the door. Quickly back to the shuttle. And then, it's too late.
It's the gas.
She then drops off her mind control.
Yeah.
So then old Dr. Corbo can see that it's actually the X-Men and it's not all of his crew astronauts.
Oh, that's right. And you said after watching this that you reckon George Lucas watched this as well and made it the first 10 minutes of Phantom Menace.
Yes, because I've said this before during the Captive Hearts episode where they had the dual lightsaber battle.
Yes.
See, it's clearly
his
obvious.
Kids were watching this.
He was watching this because it was great. And then he's like, I've got some good ideas for a movie now.
I've got some good original ideas. Well, let's keep watching the episode, the season, and see where the pod races
And where Jar Jar comes
and where Jar Jar comes from. Oh boy, that's definitely a George Lucas original. Anyway, we're way off topic here.
So none of the X-Men are able to use their powers before being overcome by gas, even Wolverine.
He's normally the last man standing. He always manages to do something, but this time he just got gassed out.
Yeah, he does pop the claws and gets to the door, but he falls over just before he can stab anything.
He can't make it happen.
So the door opens and this Daredevil-looking guy in a very S&M suits to stand there.
S&M Daredevil. His outfit kind of reminded me of the Juggernaut in X-Men 3. He still had the sort of the tube top and with the straps coming down. Vinnie Jones's Juggernaut outfit. It's quite similar. We should do a side-by-side post for our Instagram. Who wore it better?
He was always got the man spreading going, eh? He's always got his legs apart really wide.
Who,
like
this,
in a big V.
Daredevil
Yeah,
guy?
Daredevil-looking guy.
Oh, well, mate, it's not a very comfortable outfit. He's probably just letting them breathe.
So he says, as soon as he's at the doorway, he's like, Shia emissary Erik the Red welcomes you to Eagle One Station, and it's unfortunate that you will not be staying.
And after he said that, I said, he sounds like Cable.
Yes, that's because it's the same voice actor.
I was like,
CR emissary Erik the Red welcomes you to Eagle One Station. It is unfortunate that you shall not be staying.
It changes a little bit to be a bit more unique later on in the episode, but at the moment, it's pretty much Cable.
He must have said that one a couple of times, so the more he redoes it, the less he drops that until he
gets rid of the Cable growl.
Falls into Cable. Erik the Red then turns on his Apple Watch. It's similar to Cable's. And he reports to the Emperor, to Ken, and then he notices that they're actually stowaways. It's like, oh man. They're always looking at Beast too. It's like if Beast wasn't there and there was some sort of human more looking people, he wouldn't be like, oh no.
Well, Beast does catch the eye very quickly.
So Ken says, they must know my plans of the crystal, but how?
Decan, that's right. Now I remember his name.
Emperor Decan, that's right.
Decan.
Yeah.
He's got a cool voice.
Yeah, you don't hear too much of him. He's got a couple of lines in this one, but he'll be coming. They come to the conclusion that it must be Lalandra. So we're hearing all these things for the first time. Crystal, Lalandra, Erik the Red. He blames Erik the Red, who says that he will prevent them from interfering. So they take Dr. Corbo to the control room and lock the rest of the X-Men in the entrance room. And then he opens the old airlock.
Yep.
Erik the Red says, let the galaxy know the price for aiding Lalandra.
Doesn't like Lalandra.
So this is when Jean wakes up during the countdown of the airlock opening, and she tries to reach the people in the control room, but she can't. Jean says, oh, there's some kind of device too strong. And the hatch starts to open, and the X-Men start to slide towards the opening door. Jean then manages to just like fuck with the computers, and she flicks the keys back over so they close the door itself.
Yeah, she's working hard in this episode.
So yeah, she reactivates the safety system, causing the door to slam shut.
It looked like Cyclops was going to get his head chopped off.
Yeah, I thought it would have been cool if they could have chopped off a bit of his hair.
At least a little bit of his hair, raised the stakes a bit, but no, too safe.
So the doors on the control room then open and two guards come in. They got these big blasters too. And so Jean manages to sort of levitate one of them into the roof, which we've seen her do before.
Slams him into the roof, yeah.
But then the other one just nails her with the blaster.
Yeah, just shoots her ass.
Cyclops then comes to and just totally dog shots the other guard straight in the back. Jean then says that she started to put up a psychokinetic shield around her just before she lost consciousness. It must have done some good.
Well, she saw who. Of course.
Kind of, not really. But anyway. All she remembers is someone standing over them gloating.
Man spreading. While standing.
She tells them also the space station crew are under mind control, and she doesn't have the strength to overcome it. And it's an implant in their brains.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
And they sort of show the guys that are now unconscious on the ground, and they got the flashing light in the back of their
That's right,
neck. And then Wolverine has a claw drawn and says, "Someone call for a surgeon." Cyclops then says, "First we rescue Dr. Corbo without destroying the space station crew." So I thought destroying is going to say something about the space station. Then he says crew. It's like, oh, he just doesn't want to say kill.
Did we prove that in any way?
They do say kill a few times, but 90% of the time when they're going to say kill, they say destroy. Erik the Red then explains that the vortex they are studying is what our primitive science would call a wormhole. As in the humans' science call it a wormhole.
Yes.
He says the Shi'ar uses these galactic passageways when circumstances require it. Erik the Red's purpose here is to intercept Lilandra as she exits the vortex, and because she is an enemy of the Emperor and a rebel scum.
You rebel scum.
You rebel scum.
He has mounted an energy weapon capable of disabling her rebel star cruiser. He explains as he's walked among the humans, guarding it for the Shi'ar for years, and he's keen to serve his leader and move into a better place, not one infested with lower life forms.
Yeah, this is a little reminiscent of the Matrix now.
He's
Agent Smith just wanting to get out of there.
That's right. Yeah, so this is one of those parts where I'm like, oh, I didn't remember that. So yeah, he's been on Earth or somewhere around Earth, just hanging there waiting for his call to say, we need you to do something.
Yeah, he's obviously done something to piss the Emperor off. You're going to the backwater Earth and you're just going to stay there and you're going to... That probably explains why he's got the very non-Shi'ar name, Erik the Red. It's a Viking's name, dude. It's like, well, you're not fooling anybody.
And maybe he had like a full awesome suit of red and he's just lost a lot of it.
He's lost bits and pieces and there's not enough Shi'ar material just to sew it back on. Watching your pathetic little backwater world.
Watching your pathetic backwater little world, walking among you.
So as he's explaining the plot here, they sort of zoom out and pan around, and it turns out the X-Men have been standing there the whole time listening to the whole plan. They're like, motherfucker!
Not today.
And then Cyclops hits him with an energy blast, and no effect.
Yeah, he just shakes it off. Before he says that, he goes, "You're meant to be space debris."
That's right. And then Erik the Red says, "You cannot comprehend the power of the Shi'ar.
You cannot comprehend the power of the dark side."
Just as the crew start to fire upon the X-Men, Lilandra's ship passes through the wormhole.
That's right, the bug ship. It looks to me like a roast chicken. It's got the two big legs on the end of it. It's big and round. And it's got the jets coming out the back, and it's kind of like the arse of a chicken.
This is also a straight-up Gambit and Beast just ate it straight away.
Yeah!
Got bang.
They just get shot and they're down. It's like, oh, that's not the mighty X-Men that we're used to.
So Erik the Red flips around, tries to fire his weapon, but Cyclops blasts at the computer, which causes the weapon to fire anyway, but it misses its target. And then it just explodes, so he doesn't get a second shot. Erik the Red just then retreats to his ship with a few of the crew, and the X-Men release Dr. Corbo.
The whole station's beginning to break up! Reactor containment systems failing. Back to the shuttle. It's our only chance.
Noise. Bad noise.
So then they'll have to race back to the shuttle to escape. Cyclops wants to take the crew that he's already blasted earlier. Like, he wanted to dog shot him in the back, and now he's like, oh, no, we've got to save these people now.
Hypocrite.
Yeah. Dr. Corbo pilots the shuttle and just manages to break off the station before Erik the Red fires on it as the reactor is overloading. So that was a pretty cool scene, eh? So they're like trying to get away, and Erik the Red's coming back in with his space shuttle.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of we care about this space battle now because we know who's the bad guy and who the good guys, and what the good guy's ship looks like and what the bad guy's ships look like.
Erik the Red then takes off after Lilandra and fires upon her ship. The shuttle is also headed towards her ship and is about to fly through the energy contrail.
Yeah, I was wondering what that energy contrail is. Just the afterburners of her ship, right?
Yeah, coming through the wormhole, I guess.
Something like that. It's just the energy's too strong and tough.
Dr. Corbo can't pilot the ship around it, and as it is damaged and is low on fuel. And he also doesn't know if the ship can actually take coming through this contrail. because he's getting intense power readings, and they are all off the scale.
So a lot of radiation and stuff.
Yeah, so Beast comes up with the idea to jump into this solar probe, as its shielding should be able to protect them.
Oh, there's that foreshadowing that got paid off in the earlier part of the episode.
So it's a great plan, but one person has to stay behind because the autopilot is shot.
Man, that autopilot not working is is a motif that keeps popping up in all the movies these days. That can't happen anymore. It's cliche.
That's
now.
my next line. Who makes autopilots? They are hopeless. Everybody's series of anything, it's just autopilot doesn't work.
It's the lowest bidder. Okay, this is the important stuff, the autopilot. Who should we get? I'm not putting in any more money for the autopilot. Lowest bidder. And it's just some goofball made with pride in America. I just think about the gate in The Simpsons that malfunctions. All the bloody drink washers at my work, made in Australia, they're always fucking broken.
Yeah?
Got to get those Chinese drink washers. Australians can't make anything good. Make the beer all right, I just can't wash the glasses.
So Dr. Corbo volunteers, but Beast said he'll never survive the radiation. That's when Jean just jumps in here. She grabs Dr. Corbo by the head and just telepathically absorbs his ability to fly the spaceship.
And I said, oh, it's like the thing out of Batman Forever where the Riddler takes the thing and you go, the box.
In every home in America.
And then you say, she boxed him. Said, does anyone else feel like a fried egg?
This is your brain on the box.
Wow. This is my brain on the box. So she just takes his knowledge.
I'll have a bit more of that, please.
I have a bit more, thank you.
Oh, there's more. But only the first part's free.
Do you know the technical quote he does? A very interesting side effect. While you were stimulated by my neural TV, I manipulated your brainwaves to grow smarter?
Yeah.
Something along the lines.
Something along those lines, yep.
Yeah, I can never remember it exactly.
I manipulated your neural energy to grow smarter.
That's it. So she is manipulating his neural energy to grow smarter.
Bruce Wayne was right!
So Batman Forever ripped off X-Men. The Matrix again. That's loading the kung fu in the brain.
That's right.
Mate, X-Men setting standards. Was it Michael Edens?
Yep.
And what's his brother's name?
Mark
and Michael Edens. They're bloody trendsetters. They are probably the first to come up with the malfunctioning autopilot. I will go on record and say they invented that. After they stole it from the X-Men comics. Whoever wrote that, Chris Claremont or something.
She also says here that she can generate a psychokinetic shield to protect herself from the radiation.
Just say shield. We don't need that psychokinetic part.
Cyclops says he won't allow it. It's just too dangerous.
And she turns him off.
Cyclops like, if I can fly the Blackbird, I can fly this space shuttle. No, you can't, mate. Say totally different things. Beast says, your chances of survival are too small to compute.
Seems like a lazy C-3PO thing. When C-3PO would give the actual stat.
Jean just mind beams him, knocks him out. It's like, yeah, there's no other way. It's just, yep, that's it.
She gets him with the...
Get him in the probe.
She knocks his ass out.
So everyone's strapped into the probe. Wolverine wants one more sort of Jean moment because Cyclops is knocked out. And she's like, don't try and stop me, Logan. And he's like, good luck.
Oh, and she gives him a kiss on the cheek, right?
Yep.
Just want to wish you both good luck. We're all counting on you. Where was that? Where was that reference? Where's the airplane reference? Or
Airplane.
Flying high.
I was flying high.
Yeah. Australia's flying high. In America, it's airplane.
There's a lot of movies like that, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think of that one because I think Aussies, we call it an aeroplane instead of an airplane and flying high. And the Rock's movie, The Rundown, was called Welcome to the Jungle over here. And
why couldn't they just call it The Rundown?
I don't know. I really don't know. I would have got it. It's The Rock, William Scott. I don't need to say Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, yeah, and Bad Neighbours. Just called Neighbours. We couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, it was Neighbours in the State, Bad Neighbours over here because people wouldn't want to confuse the Neighbours soapbox with the Neighbours with actual stars in it. We're not that fucking stupid.
Turn it up, mate.
Turn it up. Anyway, where were we?
This is where Jean's putting up her like blue shield.
Psychokinetic shield.
That's correct. And then she sort of gets covered with like this orangey red sort of radiations getting all over her.
It's busting through and she's making a bit of noise.
As the shuttle flies through the energy contrail. Jean then seems to be struggling, and then it cuts to outside of the shuttle and she screams.
Yeah, big old scream.
And then the screen is sort of overcome by this fiery bird.
The firebird comes up there.
Phoenix. Come on, Phoenix.
Come on, Phoenix. Before that happened, there was another shot of Lalandra's ship and the energy trails leaving behind, and then there was a quick shot of fire coming out of it. And I forgot to mention it when it happened in the breakdown, but you heard the Phoenix whistle that it went through then. I thought, oh, that's a cool little foreshadow. It's a noise you really get used to.
And that's the end of that chapter.
What did you think of that episode, Brooksy?
So, yeah, it wasn't a bad setup, I think. I think what did we say? There's like 4 comics here.
It was a very solid effort of condensing 4 whole comics into one episode, to which I said, I reckon you could have cut even more out of that. It's like, we watched that whole episode today. I said, nothing happened. Let's watch the next one.
Where's the Phoenix?
Yeah. Because I would have very comfortably just continued watching from that point. I could
watch episode 2 now.
Yeah, I was ready for episode 2. I didn't want to turn it off. I was like, I'm doing a podcast, so I couldn't very well do 2 episodes in one podcast. Let's not do that. That seems cheap. But I could have very easily just continued watching that. Probably watch it when I get home tonight. But in and out, not very quickly. It felt like it dragged a little bit. There was a bit of setup that we had to get through here, which is understandable. And not one of the more dynamic episodes. Nothing super funny, nothing super badass, and not that action-packed.
No, but not a bad episode. Not, oh, this is terrible. Why is this? None of that.
None of that. It all felt in place. Just, for me personally, just felt a little bit boring.
It was just a more hating on Cyclops and Professor X, which we love to do.
Yeah, it's just more hanging shit on those two guys and feeling sorry for Wolverine because he's in love with Jean. And
the other note I got here is the space shuttle design is very similar to like the NASA space shuttle, but the space suits they wear are like the Russian space suits.
Yeah. So their emblem on their shoulder kind of looked like the Russian Red Star.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what's the deal with that? That's looking like that. I thought it was a combination between that and the Star Trek emblem. But it's interesting designs in this episode, especially with the spaceships at the start. But you didn't know who to cheer for when all that action was going down.
So, having said that, what is your favourite part?
So this one's pretty tough for me because nothing really stands out as being memorable. Even as a kid, I don't remember very much about this at all. I mean, I want to be cheap and just say when when Wolverine picks up one of the fallen dead guys, not dead guys, one of the fallen brain-controlled goons, he picks him up onto his shoulder. He goes, boy, have I got a story to tell you. No, he says, come on, fella, have I got a story for you. I think just based on that, that's my favourite moment, my favourite part, and my favourite line.
Right.
It's Wolverine talking to someone who's unconscious and picking them up. And whenever he picks someone up, it always seems like a hard labour. Because when he picked up Beast, it's understandable. He goes, oh, boy, you got to cut down. And just picking up this guy made the similar sort of noise. Maybe he just doesn't like picking people up.
No, he doesn't.
But that was my favourite. I'll be cheap and say that was my favourite part and favourite quote.
My favourite part was probably when Jean actually used her powers this time and masked everyone. So I thought that was good that they used that part.
That's a clever bit, yeah.
I like that. Probably my favourite quote would probably be the "Yes, Dad," because that was pretty funny.
Wolverine being a smartass. Yeah. Oh, I've said that at work many times. Yes, Mum. It's usually a female telling me off because they're all the bosses there and they're all super smart, and I'm always not doing the right thing.
So how do you rate this one?
Well, you put in the argument it was a good episode only because it accomplishes the setup of the story very well. I rate these in terms of rewatchability and sheer entertainment value. So I'll say it's above average. I'd say about a 6. 6 for me. What would make it better is for me maybe do a little bit more with Erik the Red. I feel as though he's just in there and out there very short, and I feel as though there's a little bit of wasted time throughout that you could, well, not wasted time, but you could have really made moments a bit more high stakes, like really sell what Professor's sending them into is sort of like a crazy sort of idea. Like, he doesn't even know why he's sending them up there.
Right.
Maybe show him slipping insanity a little bit like that. I think everything was played pretty safe, not really pushing the boundaries of anything there. They're not really, I don't know, being extra, if that makes sense there. But yeah, it's all right. 6.5. I
gave it a 6.5. Yeah. The IMDb for this gave it an 8.0.
Jeez, that's a very high rating.
This one's mine.
All right, it's time for tally time. What have we got, Brooks?
So we sort of had a beast quote this episode.
Yeah, it got like cut off, didn't it?
Yeah, he says, "Ours is not to reason why, ours is but to do," and then he gets cut off. This is because Xavier's told him to go into space and do something. The original is, "Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die."
Ooh.
"Into the valley of death rode the 600, Tennyson, the charge of the Light Brigade."
Ooh. Is it spelt theirs, THEIRS, as in what their duty is?
THEIRS.
How do I spell it?
I don't know, but I think you're...
THEIRS. IRS, no ES.
There's no ES.
Okay,
yeah,
that's right. I can spell.
So yeah, there sort of was a beast quote.
That's
claw
a very
draws.
dark quote too.
Do you remember how many claw draws?
No, I wasn't keeping count.
You weren't keeping count?
Of course not. That's your job now.
Well, I was keeping count.
Thank gosh.
There was 4 this episode.
Ooh.
So 4 plus the 13 from this season is 17.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives us 125 total. We're no bubs, so we're still on 7 bubs. And no real Jane faints.
No, you got Jane gassed, but everybody got gassed. And she kept it together this episode.
So she's on 3. Any cool sound effects that you picked up?
No cool sound effects were picked up. Just one of just a foreshadowing of sound effects to come. The Phoenix. What do you call what sort of noises does a bird like an eagle make?
The Phoenix screech.
It's a screech. I think what should sound more majestic. It's not a whistle. It's like. Have you got a book that seriously says the sounds of what birds make?
Yeah, well, yeah, I got bird books.
Well, the Phoenix.
It's called a bird call.
The bird. There we go. The Phoenix call. You hear that? It's like a real sort of American eagle sort of call that's really strong and powerful. You hear that at this end of this episode, and I'm sure you hear it a dozen more times.
So quite a while ago, I come up with the idea. I think we're just talking
about... A couple seasons ago.
We're talking about Cyclops and like, what do you reckon Cyclops get to drink? It'd be dead set shandy, wouldn't it? And that's how this started. You're like, we should do every X-Men and what drink order they're going to do.
That's right.
Because you're being the barman.
Yeah, that's right. That's me.
We had to follow this up. So it's come up on the show a few times. Like, come on, let's do it this week. So we've gone with our drink orders this week for all the X-Men, and we'll run through them now.
Exactly right. It was in The Cure when I think they were first in the bar. And
That's it.
What would they drink? So I don't know how you want to do this. I've given like just basically what they drink and a reason why.
Yeah.
And I'll just do all mine first and see if we can pop each other, mate.
How about we just go through them? You just tell me your one person, then I'll tell you mine.
Okay, no worries.
We'll just go through person to person.
Well, I'll start kicking off with Wolverine because he's the most likely to be found in a bar. In the movies, he's always sort of drinking wine. Not wine. Beers or bourbons.
Yeah.
And that's what I put here.
Right.
Beers or bourbons. I don't think he'd be a Jim Beam guy because he's not that basic. I think his tastes would go all the way back to when, I don't know, bourbon was sort of first came about. But I don't know what the oldest bourbon is.
Okay.
So I just had just bourbon, beer, and any sort of alcohol to ease the pain. What did you have?
For Wolverine, I had cheap beer or straight whiskey.
Oh, whiskey over bourbon.
Yeah.
All right, Tennessee whiskey.
I did think because he's Wolverine and he regenerates so much, he's probably not getting too drunk.
That's right, eh?
So he's just cheap beer, whatever. Nail that down.
Right. Oh, that's right. It's similar to that Captain America scene.
Yeah.
His what's that thing that breaks down your food?
Yeah.
He's got an accelerated metabolism, so he can't get drunk. So I'd major Wolverine would have the same sort of thing. He'd want to get pissed as quickly as he can, so the cheapest hooch and the strongest spirits. That is good.
That was my...
That is some good rationale for that. Now for Cyclops, you said he had a shandy. I went even more soft. I said he drinks a Pinot Grigio. because Mick Malloy was on, had been paying attention a while ago and made fun of our Prime Minister for possibly ordering a Pinot. I thought that's the funniest, softest drink that you can order. And the only people that ever order Pinots at work are just little old ladies who want something to drink while they go up and play bingo or whatever.
Right.
I'll just have a Pinot. So that's what Cyclops is having.
Speaking of, have you been paying attention to see it got picked up in the America?
No. For an American version of Have You Been Paying Attention?
Working Dog sold at CBS
So
American ones.
Oh, but the Australian one's still happening?
Yeah.
Oh, thank the Lord. Then I wouldn't be able to get my news any other way. It's the only way I get my news, even though it's a week late. Gee, this happened? That was last week. Oh, never mind. That's interesting. I wonder what sort of comedians they get on board to do that.
I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know who's up and coming and
but
who
it could work over there. It's a great show.
I mean, with all the Trump material that us Aussies come up with, imagine what Americans could come up with. That's really cool. Yeah, they're connected to CBS. We didn't watch this week's episode because our 10 play wasn't working, so I had to download it and we'll watch it another time.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. No Shigsy, so that's not the best.
So long as Sam Payne's there.
For Cyclops, I had the shandy, or I went the way of like the Ned Flanders. He's getting the Virgin, or the Children's, or the or a wine spritzer,
raspberry schnapps. It's my first and last raspberry schnapps. Ed Land is a boring old biddy. Ed.
That's definitely what Cyclops is.
I imagine people would think, oh, because his eyes are red, he'd get a red drink. No, we just went for personality-wise.
That's right.
What would he be really getting? Would he have his shandy with a light beer even?
Of course.
Make it extra soft.
Of course.
All right, after Cyclops, I had Beast, and because he seems like a reader, well, obviously he is a reader and a philosopher. What's the most philosopher sort of drink to get? I put a Cabernet Sauvignon red wine.
Right.
Served room temperature, as it should be.
Yeah.
I can just see him holding that and drinking that and reading a nice book.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of a pub. I doubt he'd be a beer guy. Because he's pretty old too. He's cab sab sort of bloke.
I'll go on for base Scotch on the rocks.
Oh, why Scotch on the rocks?
I can see him there, same thing, sitting in the library, and then he's just clinking the glass.
Oh, he's got a bit of a harsher drink.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a different way of looking.
He's a beast, man.
He's a beast. Well, if you want to go back, remember when he went in that episode Beauty and the Beast?
Yep.
He's going through his high school portraits. He's like, where he's human. Is he human or is he just?
He's beast-like, but not massive. Okay. He's not huge.
But he's still blue, right?
Yeah.
But he still had like the leather jacket on.
He did.
So he might have been a partier. He seems like if playing football or whatever, he would have partied. So he could be a beer guy too. Could be a Budweiser guy.
He's refined now.
He's a bit more refined now, so he has
too much head in the books.
Yeah. Scotch on the rocks or Cabernet Sauvignon.
Are you just mixing him up being upside down? You think he's going to be doing the inverted keg?
Yeah, he would kill it, that guy. He just grab onto something with his feet.
Monkey chugs. He would dominate.
He would dominate. Oh, good Lord. Next I have Xavier, which I put Rohypnol on the rocks.
Rohypnol. Death
Retro. Yeah, that's the only place my mind went. That or just another red wine and Merlot or something like that. Something boring for old Chuck. But In the movies, when he's young, he just gets on the whiskey and that, and because he's a partier in the 60s or whatever. Yeah. But I can only think of this cartoon version of Saga, which is very sort of unsavoury. So we'd have the Rohypnol on the rocks.
I went with gin.
Gin? Please explain.
Just because Professor X, that's what he's getting.
A gin and soda water with a twist of lemon.
Yep.
It's very fancy.
He's getting gin.
So Jean Grey, I have up next. I didn't think anything fancy for her. Just a Chardonnay. There's a lot of wines in my choices.
That's exactly what I'm going for.
You go with a Chardonnay.
Well.
There you go. You know, sometimes you just sort of feel it. She seems refined. She doesn't seem like the beer type. Bit of a nerd as well. Doesn't want to get on the sort of... Feels like everyone has a real sort of dry palate. They're not a lot of sweet drinkers here because they're sort of older, I get the vibe. And if I was to buy her a drink, if I ran into a club, hey baby, can I get you a Chardonnay? She'd go, oh yes please. And she'd read my mind and splash it in my face.
Well, she could have gone, what's the pink wine?
The pink wine, a piccolo of Moscato.
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 She could have gone with that.
Oh yeah. That might be a strong...
She's a redhead.
A pink Moscato. That seems like a real party young girl sort of... I don't know. Could be hers. But I went the Chardonnay for her. Gambit, I went with Rohypnol on the rocks. Bloody Swamp Rat. I just see him just as sleazy as everyone. Start of the episode, he's coming in when everyone is asleep. He's wide awake.
Yeah.
He's been out on the town partying with a Rohypnol on the rocks. What'd you have for him?
I'm going with old-fashioned for him.
Oh, a cocktail.
Yes.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Sort of that sort of pseudo-sophistication air about him. He likes nice tasting things.
He's going to be sitting there at the table.
Yeah.
Just scoping the ladies out.
With his
sipping on the old-fashioned.
What's in an old-fashioned?
I don't know. You're the bartender. I thought you'd be able to tell me.
I've only got the 4 cocktails that they have on the list, which is like a Green Lantern, Fruit Tingle, all the basics. So it's a bourbon old-fashioned. The classic old-fashioned cocktail features little more than whiskey, sugar, and bitters. Done right, it's perfectly balanced, timeless crowd pleaser. Huh. It seems fun. I swear either Lawley or Mike would have had one at the Reviver Bar or the Central Coast Leagues Club, sort of that fancy cocktail bar there.
Kendall Bar.
The Kendall Bar. How's that doing, Brooks?
How do I know?
Is it dead yet or what?
I don't get it.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty solid guess for the old gambler, the old-fashioned. I should have thought about cocktails. I didn't think about that. Next, I've got Rogue, and what Rogue drinks is what other people buy her, because I don't think
she's never bought a drink in her life.
She has never bought a drink in her life. As soon as she walks into the bar, she's getting whatever the fuck she wants. So I didn't write anything. It's just whatever the dudes rush up with. What she'll have a beer. She seems like sort of like a guy's girl. She seems like she'd be on the beers, but she would have absolutely everything. And I don't know, because she's super strong, anything doesn't affect her as well. So.
No.
And because she's a smoke show, she's not paying for anything. And as you said, she hasn't paid for a drink in a lot. Perfect. Where'd you go?
I wrote beer, or if she was going to pick something, she's a bit of a party girl, she'd probably go for a Fruit Tingle.
Fruit Tingle Skittle Bomb, yeah, she seems like the type.
Yep.
But can you see her like sort of rolling into a pub and just not having to buy anything? The dudes just rush
Of
up.
course.
Of course, mate.
And then one's going to take too far, she's going to throw him out the window.
Outstanding. Wish she was real. And next one on the list is Storm. Now, I had no idea where to go with this one, so the first drink that popped in my... Just trust my gut. First drink that popped in my vodka sunrise.
Okay.
In it all. I don't... She seems like the sensible one. And I've gone put enough wines in here, but I'm thinking maybe she'd be like the crazy drinker, you know?
Yeah.
If we're going out hard. And I'll go for the basic girl sort of drink with the vodka sunrise in there. Made nice with the red stuff just down the bottom and the orange juice up the top. with the vodka in there, and then the ladies can stir it up as they please.
Makes sense.
I don't like when I see my fellow bartenders just chucking the red cordial in there and just making it an orange mess. I said, that's not what a sunrise looks like. That's disgusting.
That's right.
Tip that shit out and start again.
Fire engine.
Fire engine, yeah. I always remember that when you kept buying me those fire engines. So you bend up. I think you either said or you said, my old man used to say, yeah, you should be able to see the orange and the red.
That's right.
Yeah, I thought, all right, I always kept that in mind when I'm making them.
Yep.
What'd you have for
The
Storm?
Storm, I've gone for the dark and stormy.
The dark and stormy. Do you know what's in that one as
Yeah,
well?
it's just rum and ginger beer.
Ooh, dark and stormy. That sounds all right. I don't really like rum, though. That stuff smells like poison. I always said rum's for pirates.
Yeah, rum's great. You just got to be in the mood for it.
I don't know. I was always a bit of a lightweight, and I could never handle rum. Just that smell just hanging my sinus the whole night.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan. And the last one on my list was Jubilee. She just gets the red lemonade, or if she's sneaky, she'd get the gold glitter vodka from Superbad.
Oh yeah. I said she stole a 4-pack of cruisers.
I love it. There's a vodka and sweets. You know what I mean? That's what I figure. Because she's the youngest. If she's doing underage drinking, it's 21 in the States, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Extra couple of years. But yeah, she'd just be...
She's got the smart faces.
She'd just get something along the lines of that. So I just went for the girliest of girl drinks. And I've never seen vodka with gold glitter over here in Australia. But I just always remember it as like the underage drinking drink.
Gold Slick vodka.
Gold Slick vodka from Superbad.
So I had a couple of other ones just thrown in there just to put at the end.
Yep.
Sabretooth. I had him similar to Wolverine, but I had a Boilermaker.
Oh, yeah.
Mega 4 Boilermakers.
That's inspired. I think he'd put him away. He would really put him away. He's a big guy. I'd say I'd be just like Wolverine, but pint size instead of regular schooners.
He wants that beer with that whiskey shot in it. Boom.
It's whiskey shot in it, is it?
I think so.
How'd that taste? I've never had a Boilermaker.
I don't know.
Are you supposed to shot it? Are you supposed to just neck it after?
Yeah, I don't know either.
I have to ask our heavy drinking buddies.
I also got Colossus, of course, vodka.
Vodka straight up.
And then I have Magneto. I reckon he'd be into that brandy like Belloc and Marion in Indiana Jones. I grew up on this stuff.
It's my family label.
He'd definitely be into that clear brandy shit.
Brandy, yeah. That seems like a Magneto drink.
So all the other ones are that.
Very good. And that's the end of our little game. We should have more games, and we should remember to do the game.
Yeah, we should.
Especially when there's a slow Marvel movie near as well. But anyway, it's on to the segment that we have missed for so many seasons. At the end of every season, we were supposed to go through and say what our favourite episode was. We missed out on the first 2 seasons. I only just remembered a couple of weeks ago. We had it planned for the last episode, but that was so jammed-packed, full of content, we forgot about it anyway. It was supposed to be like reunion, Out of the Past Part 1, right?
Yeah.
And I forgot all about it, but anyway, we're running an hour, 40 minutes for that anyway. But we'll do it tonight. All right, Brooksy, if you've got it prepared, what was your favourite episode of Season 1?
No big surprise here. Days of Future Past Part 1.
Mm-hmm. And
10 out of 10 for me, baby.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
A fucking 10.
10.
How about you?
And I think, based on our score, if you were going to keep up with it, I gave it a 9.5. No, nothing else compares. Nothing compares. What's her name? Sade?
Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor. Why did I say Sade? That's Smooth Operator.
That is Smooth Operator. No need to ask.
Yeah, there's nothing compares to bloody...
Days of Future Past Part 1.
Days of Future Past Part 1 in terms of action, badass, quotability. It's still number 1 there. Rewatchability, action, everything. I mean... I think the only one that sort of comes close, the Unstoppable Juggernaut, for me. And that's
yeah.
I give that one an 8.5. But also, Final Decision was a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a few winners in there, Slave Island and Deadly Reunions with, what's that Inuit's name again?
Kiawak.
Kiawak, my boy Kiawak made Wolverine laugh when he spilled all the fish. But yeah, there's some good episodes in that. I think that was like the start of like part 2s of things not being as good as part 1s.
Yeah.
Because Days of Future Past Part 2 wasn't very good, and in later episodes, I want to see if that was actually right or not. I'm just trying to remember. And most recently, Out of the Past Part 2, not nearly as good as Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Season 2 of X-Men the Animated Series, what did that one start with? Till Death Do Us Part, right?
So yeah, I didn't have any really big standouts from Season 2. No, there's no real episode that I like to go back and rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
So the one I've picked as my favourite is Till Death Do Us Part 2.
Oh, that's right, with all the dog shots on Sinister.
That's it.
So you like to play guard with people's lives, do you? Well, just stay away from my friends. What? That doesn't make sense. Well, in Season 2, it had one of my favourites in there of Cable and Bishop, and that was Time Fugitives Part 2. That is my absolute favourite of Season 2 because the action in that is just non-stop. There's heaps of quotes. Bishop getting pissed off with Cable. Everyone teaming up on Cable. Cable hanging shit on Wolverine. You're pretty fast, but a bit outdated. And I'm like, oh man, all that cool stuff. And talking to the computer in his arm and saving the future by
Body sliding
and all that.
Body slide by one.
Following all the oral trail that's Bishop's leaving as he's tracking him with his eye. Plenty of cool shit there, and no one's favourite episode, Red Dawn with Mega Red, that we did the Siblings podcast with.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one too, and just to my surprise, not many other people like that one. I was like, oh man, I thought it was a good one. I think I'm just a fan of Mega Red. Now we've got those out of the way. Once we finish Season 3, we will remember.
I've got it written down for the end of Season 3, so we won't forget.
Outstanding. We'll be able to get back on point, and we won't be late with our favourite episodes of the season. All right, here's a little segment that I wanted to kick off here. Since we started the podcast, we've been getting a lot of X-Men related merchandise just because we were seriously lacking it. It feels like I still haven't gotten around to getting an X-Men shirt to wear during the podcast, and Brooksy's always got this X-Men sort of gear on when he's doing it. I thought,
I got a few.
He's got a really cool X-Men shirt on right now. I thought, where the hell did you get that?
So what did I tell you? It's my Larry shirt.
It's your Larry shirt because it's a similar design. If you look at
it's the same. Me and Larry wear the same shirt, right?
Larry Houston wears an X-Men shirt to all his comic convention signings or meetups and everything, and Brooksy's got the exact same shirt. Man, I want that. So I've got to cruise the eBays, get my X-Men merchandise. But what Brooksy has also been making me do, not at gunpoint or under duress, he's been getting me back into getting action figures, and which I'm always begging for cash from all you loyal listeners. I still haven't set up any sort of fan support for my addiction here, but I've been looking at all the eBays, all the auction sites, and all the collectors sites, and even in stores for X-Men action figures just to add to the collection here. And I've got a couple this week that I'd like to talk about on the podcast. Now, I'll just bring up my eBay here.
I really have to twist your arm for this.
Really?
There's no way you just buy whatever you want all the time. When we were kids, you had 1 million figures.
Well, I am very regretful that I just got rid of. It's more than half of my collection.
Yeah.
Because I had a massive collection of action figures, and when we were moving out, I just rather than pack them all away, I said, I'll just get rid of them. Some of them got sold at garage sale, but I gave the rest to like an uncle or aunt, one of my cousins that I don't even know the name of. He was going to get rid of them online. Never heard back from the bastard, and now I'm just missing all these action figures, and I kind of want to get back into it. And starting up, I had a few Marvel Legends, and I've bought a Marvel Legends Sabretooth because we've only got the animated, like from not even the X-Men animated series that we're watching, where it's like after the first X-Men movie came out, and there was like X-Men Evolution, and is what I believe the cartoon was, and that Sabretooth's very much inspired by the X-Men from that the X-Men movie. Sabretooth's wearing a trench coat and he's got the long hair. Doesn't have the traditional animated look. So I went onto eBay and picked up a Marvel Legends Sabretooth for $5.
Wow.
He's loose. He's got no accessories. pretty good nick with the paint and everything. I don't have him here with me. He's still on the way. Plus $22 for postage. So they're all $27 all up, which is fair.
Sounds good.
Pretty fair game. And the other one is I got it's not a Marvel Legends line, but it's animated. It's not our animated, but one of the newer animated Beast action figures. Picked him up for $5. There was a buy it now for $6 or make an offer, so I underwon it by $1. Free shipping from China, probably a terrible knockoff. $5 coming my way, a neat little Beast action figure.
Awesome.
So he's on the way as well, and I'm looking up some more because I want to add to our collection here, which we should post up later. I've got Marvel Legends Cable, Marvel Legends Bishop, Marvel Legends Omega Red, all originals from the early 2000s. Punisher, Juggernaut, Wolverine, Astonishing Wolverine, and Wolverine from the Age of Apocalypse where he's missing the arm there. I bought the Build-A-Figure from the Philippines of that set for Apocalypse, which also came with Sasquatch, X23, and Iron Fist, but I got rid of those because I didn't want them. Kept Apocalypse, and then I bought a Build-A-Figure of a Sentinel from the Marvel Legends line. Don't have any of the original figures line that came with the Sentinel. I just bought the Build-A-Figure because I just wanted a Sentinel. But yeah. So whenever you get any more pop vinyls, Brooksy, because Brooksy's got this massive collection of pop vinyls, all X-Men related. He's got some X-Claws here next time, and a Pyro zipper and Wolverine dog tags. Next time, bring some merch. We'll talk about it on the podcast because this is
For sure.
So it's just a fun little thing I'd like to talk about more.
I'm going to have to start putting a few photos of the pop vinyls up, I think.
Yeah, man, the X action figures too, man. Gotta get more behind the scenes stuff on our Instagram, I reckon.
Yeah, we do.
All right, let's take it home. You can find our podcast on iTunes, Podcast Addict, Pocket Casters, Stitcher, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate us, and give us a review. All the stars and all the praise. If you've got something to say, we'll read it out on the show. The ratings and reviews help, guys, because the more we get, the more we grow. The more we grow, the more people know. So help us become one of the most popular podcasts out there. Like and share our page on Facebook at Generation X-Men. Anyone who likes Marvel, X-Men, and Australian chicanery, start sharing the love. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JetXmenPod for Meme Monday, Marvel movie news, and all things X-Men. Or you can contact us via Facebook IM or by email, generationxmenpodcast@gmail.com. So what's up for us next time, Brooks?
Next episode is number 30, Season 3, Episode 4, Phoenix Saga Part 2, Dark Shroud.
The Dark Shroud. I had that comic book. I should bring it here for the library. All right, that's it from us here at Generation X-Men. Wherever you are in the world, thanks for listening, and we hope you had a decent shot of X-Men nostalgia. Next week, we've got the Phoenix Saga Part 2, The Dark Shroud, with breakdown, tally time, claw draw, and more Marvel movie news. Like the Terminator, we'll be back, and we look forward to your company then. Thanks for hosting, Brooksy.
No worries, Bender. Take it easy, mate.
Hasta la vista.
See ya.